There's something interesting, brief about sending the spies, and it's an interesting difference between Nachmanides and Rashi. So the idea is, right, the pasuk says Shlakh, and it's sort of this understanding is, God says to Moses, send, presuming, send if you want. I'm not telling you to, and so we wonder what happened between the lines. What's the subtext? And Nachmanides starts with Rashi and says, why does God say send if you like, or send? Because what happened beforehand was that the Israelites come to Moses, say, look, we'd like to send, and he then thinks it's a good idea. He gains this divine inspiration, he thinks it's good, and the rest is history. But then Nachmanides says, wait, we need to ask something here. If Moses really could see, he had this divine prophet, divine inspiration, and through this he then agreed and thought it was a good idea, then he's also to blame. Moreover, why was he asking all these, all these questions, like, tell me if it's like this, tell me it's like that. It's almost as if he's waiting for them to come back with these difficult responses. Rather, Nachmanides says it's very different. Nachmanides says, first of all, I don't think Moses, had this in Nimlach b'Shechina. I don't think he foresaw something. I don't think that was the issue. Rather, the Israelites came with a very legitimate request. And what is that legitimate request? He says, when you want to conquer a land, you go and you want to ask tactical questions to understand how to go about this. And there's even something that makes sense here because it teaches you not to count on the miracle, right? It's not to do with faith and not having God's faith, but it's the idea that, you want to come and you want to check tactically and understand that you have your own bit that you need to do. And that's why all these questions, for example, what's happening down south, because that's where we're going to come from. All the different questions he asked have to do with tactical, strategic issues, with how to fight a war, and it's man's part in God's intervention and helping the Israelites get in. But then what happened, of course, because God knows, and he sort of foresees, he says to Moses, take 12 princes, I want the best people, I want of each tribe, so there won't be an issue where some tribes, if they do fall, fail as they did, that one tribe will get screwed and the other one won't, but rather everyone gets an equal punishment. And I want the best people to ensure that they might do tshuva. They might still have a chance. And from this, and what was their fault? Because it wasn't that Moses saw this, and this is the difference between Nachmanides and Rashi. Moses thought it was a good idea because he said, oh, this is tactical. Sure, why not? Let's ask the questions. And even asked a few questions like, tell me if the land is good, because he knew it was good. And he wanted them to bring back fruit because he knew how impressive it would be. The problem was that when they came back and said all that they said, it wasn't what they said. The problem was as a result, they lost their faith in God, believing that God would lead them, and that was the big no-no. So there are two small differences, but huge differences between the way Nachmanides views this text and Rashi in terms of what actually happened here. Thoughts on the Torah person of Shlakh. Shabbat Shalom.